And the first time I connected you and my mom several years back, we went to a restaurant and I was sweating like I had just played in an NBA playoff game because here's a woman that I loved and here's the original woman that I love. And I didn't know how to manage that. And I guess you don't get a textbook on how to do it. Because I don't even remember what it looked like the first time for me. But this time, because of focusing on being more intentional in a relationship, I didn't even know. So, and what was that experience for like you when I was doing that?
I was nervous and not sure of how the conversation was going to go or how I was going to be received because, depending on how the previous relationship ends.
Anxious, nothing. A little bit anxious, nothing.
Look at you looking stunning again.
Thank you. All black.
All black. I got the funeral vibes. I feel like we look like went to a funeral a little.
Based on the topic, in-laws, right?
Yeah.
In-laws can kill. So we are dressed appropriately for the event.
Well, you ain't accustomed to dealing with in-laws, so here that goes.
Some are better than others. That's what I'll say.
Oh. Welcome to Take Two with Mylan and Kate. Tonight, we will be discussing the family dynamic of in-laws and the exes. Respectfully, of course. So, babe, we've been married before, and so we have to bring different sets of people with us. And you remember we had lightly alluded to blending that side of the family. So you have siblings, I have siblings, you have in-laws. Like how have we been able to navigate that?
I mean, it's challenging, very challenging, but you have to make sure that you take the time to really study the new family and their dynamics and see how you can fit in. You can't force that relationship. You can't rush it. You can't try to say, well, I'm here and I want to do everything so that they love me and receive me immediately, to kind of like X out the X or erase the X, the memories that they have or continue to have there. You're a new person. You're new. Creating your own story. You're starting a new journey. So allow the relationship to grow. Allow yourself to settle and see where it goes. But it is really difficult.
Yes.
To really come into a new space, especially if the ex-partners are still involved, right? Because if there are children involved, more than likely the mother or your new mother-in-law is involved with the ex.
Are you talking about my mama?
No, I'm in general. The mother is involved because grandmothers will always be grandmothers. And sometimes they don't even care that you guys are divorced. They're still going to reach out to the ex and have conversations, ask about, because to them, it's all about the children.
It is.
And to them, they're like, well, there's nothing wrong. I can have, unless there is a level of disrespect towards them. Directly, where it becomes a toxic breakup, that divorce that really seeps into their life or into them, then it becomes, well, okay, I don't have a good relationship with the mother or father anymore because of this that happened. That's when you really see the in-laws pull away. Other than that,
they're usually neutral,
right?
And and obviously I'll speak my side. I have a big family, but I have my mom and my sister, who are my everyday connects. My mom has been amazing. Let me start by saying that. But it's been interesting. And my mom definitely isn't like pro-ex. My mom is pro-mom. So it's about...
And pro-kids.
And pro-kids, yes. How do you make it work with her? I'm a self-admitted mama's boy, I'll admit.
Say that out loud. You're what?
My mic is working and the crowd heard me. The audience heard me.
That's why I know.
I am a self-admitted...
mine wasn't on.
I'm a self-admitted mama's boy.
So I'm going to turn mine on.
Oh my goodness, so late in this show. I'm a self-admitted mama's boy. And learning how to maneuver your mom with your new spouse, because it's a unique conversation that I had to have with my mom about moving on and being with someone new and what my expectations were. These are things that...
And yours wasn't on either, so we're going to turn that on.
Oops,
Oh, okay.
I'll take wrong for $5.50. But these were very dynamic conversations I had to have with my mom about, this is who I'm with, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I expect from you. But parents will always be parents. So leading up to that meeting, it was a lot more nerve-wracking than I thought. Despite me being like a man of a seasoned age, I still had to think about how I was going to broach that conversation. And the first time I connected you and my mom several years back, we went to a restaurant, and I was sweating like I had just played in an NBA playoff game, because here's a woman that I loved, and here's the original woman that I love, and I didn't know how to manage that. And I guess you don't get a textbook on how to do it, because I don't even remember what it looked like the first time for me. But this time, because of focusing on being more intentional in the relationship, I didn't even know. So, and what was that experience for, like you, when I was doing that?
I was nervous and not sure of how the conversation was going to go or how I was going to be received, because, I mean, depending on how the previous relationship ends, the in-laws, they form their own... I mean, it sounds like you have a lot coming through your nose. Do you have something? Because it's just a lot, so there might be, you can say it through your mouth and then I'll continue.
I'm like, no, you're right. They have their own alliances.
Yeah, so they come in, and I said this in previous episode about the children, when they first meet you, they have their own, attitude and energy. The initial conversations is slightly off because they're upset about the situation and how it ended, or why the parents aren't together anymore. And I think it's the same for the in-laws, right? And they come in with a certain type of energy, and it's just almost like they don't want to do this, but they're being forced to do it, and they love their kids so much. They're going to sit through this torture and see what comes of it, because I don't really know the conversation that was had after we left the restaurant. I don't know what your mom told you.
It was all good things. It was great things. Amazing. Substantial.
Right. But if we're being honest, there were certain things that probably was said that couldn't be said at the table, right? And again,
everything was mentioned to you. Obviously you have your mom as well, and admittedly, Mom, when you see this, don't kill me. But your mom's a lot lighter than my mom, right? In the context as far as it goes with like the correlating and the dealing, with dealing. My father has passed on. Your dad is involved to an extent.
Yeah.
But it's really the mothers that we're dealing with. My mom is light-ish. Your mom is lighter. For me, I'm a people person. So Miss Grace was easy.
Yeah,
she was great. She was easy.
Yeah, and she
Mom, but I still love you. I'm not saying you weren't great. I'm just saying.
Your mom is great. She has her own. It's kind of like parenting styles, like we say, right? But people will people. Everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own view, and depending on the narrative too.
Yes.
When you come into the family. That you will be viewed a certain way. I have certain people from your side of the family where it's almost like every time we talk, they're like, wow, if I would have listened to the narrative, you would have thought like you were just this, nothing wrong with OnlyFans because they are making the money. That's where it's at. But you would think that you're just the OnlyFans girl who doesn't have a job, who's just out here playing with your toes on camera for money, or just home, and he is just the only one providing. But getting to know you, like you're hardworking, you're respectful, and you can attest to this. Like and so I don't know how your mom came in.
Yeah.
When she was coming in, it was probably that narrative and that preconception. This happens a lot in African households, right?
Yes.
Oh, my son is doing well. Who is this woman who was coming in and coming to just take all his money and all of these things? What is then going to be left for me if she's coming in and I heard she's, high maintenance, and I heard she doesn't work, she doesn't do this. What does that look like? Is she only here? So I don't personalize those things. While it is annoying and unfortunate, I don't personalize it because people can sell whatever, but you have to prove yourself. It's like a job interview. You have to prove yourself when you come in. And so for me, it didn't bother me too much because your mom has gotten to know me, seeing me go to work every day. It's just like, oh, wow, okay. And every time we're there visiting, every time she comes downstairs, she's like, oh, you're working? Oh, you still on that call? Oh, and it's like, now
she's saying with that accent, though?
Right, I'm saying the Liberian, right.
But the accent don't be like that.
But
the accent ain't like that.
It's changed.
Says it normal.
There's a level of respect. The conversations are different. The engagement is different. The respect is there compared to the initial, the
initial meeting.
But to the question you posed earlier, the boundaries, right? Because sometimes it can be a lot, Yes,
because you didn't deal with a mother-in-law in your previous space.
Mm-hmm.
You just dealt with your person, and that was it. So this dynamic is different. What was important for me was, how do I bridge the two? Because, there were preconceived notions. What I understood was I couldn't put out every fire prior to the two meeting. Like I wasn't going to oversell my mom on, oh no, this is who she really is, because guess what? I had made the executive decision. This is who I'm gonna be with. And I'll tell you this, you may want your in-laws to love, and you may want your in-laws to appreciate who you're with, but at the end of the day, they do not have to. And that was part of the original conversation I had to have, was, look, this is who it is. Whether you agree or not, this is what I'm doing. So I personally felt like, because you never really had that experience, it was tough for you to have to work within it. That's what I felt. And I understood that, maybe his situation was different, but it wasn't as on the grounds like how my mom is. Because we see my mom
and
weekly.
That's what makes it challenging. But you were able to kind of, continue to be there to, help soften the blows a little bit.
I mean, there weren't any blows. It was smooth. Guys, this thing was smooth.
Okay.
Kane's overselling.
Well, soften it.
For the pod.
And so, right, as we talk about how do you navigate, being there to not just leave me out in the wilderness where I'm fighting for my life, or I'm trying to figure it out on my own, it made it a lot better. So I'm saying this to say that you have to be there for your partner when the time comes. And they have to deal with is this similar to the kids?
Yes.
The United Front.
You have to set that precedent.
You can't just think that, oh, well, my mom can say and do anything to you, and I'm just going to stand there and just accept it. I'm not ever going to disrespect my mom. You're not ever going to disrespect your mom, but maybe not in front of me, but you're going to let her know
if something kind of comes off weird.
Yeah, it's just not acceptable, because at the end of the day, this is who I have chosen
to be with.
Right. And this is the route that we're going. And when we go off of the in-laws, because this is just not at all about in-laws alone.
You could have had me for it.
It's an extension. There's so many players on the team. Yeah. Within the siblings. I have siblings.
You got siblings. Who you're actively involved with.
Actively involved with. And I know sometimes that can be overwhelming for you, right?
And it was in the beginning.
And once I land...
Right? I told you. I mean, I'm a good co-pilot, so I'm not trying to let you get into the turbulence.
Because your relationship, you and your sister, you guys are very, very close. But the age gap, it pulls you guys away from certain things sometimes.
It does, yeah.
And also being, male versus female.
True.
So there's certain things that you guys just don't do. You talk every single day almost on the phone, but when it comes to doing certain things, it's different from my sister and I, or just my siblings in general, right?
That's when you guys were in Italy and you got that whole history and all that.
Even after after Italy, and I think that
And you guys sold rice and all this stuff. I mean, there was just a lot of family
let my sister
dynamics.
tell it, because she struggled. Her struggles was so real growing up in Ghana and Italy. But I think you have to understand the family dynamics, right? I'm very close to my siblings as well, but our relationship is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes I don't know if it's a struggle or it's man, I wish I could have that. And sometimes that comes off a certain way because you don't have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're not going to have that.
Yeah. So like, I'm almost 10 years older than my sister, right? So I had a extended period of just me time. So it takes a while to transition someone into your circumference, into that world, because there's certain things you've experienced for a standard amount of time, whereas your sister and yourself are maybe, 3-4 years different. So you guys are still on the same path. You guys do the same thing, very similar. So it took a lot to learn that. At first, it was a struggle for me. You remember I asked you, I was like, damn, do you always do something with your sister? You remember like we first got her? And the damn do you always do wasn't like it's a bad thing, but it was trying to understand it. And guys, if I can just kind of go from autopilot right now to the pilot.
Sure.
and guys, what I'm saying is this has been the dynamic of us of coming together, because something I never had to fact check, consider, or even think about in my previous space, it's like now, you ask it, just like how you had to ask me about my sister, my mom, it's up to me how I receive and react to that. And it was the same thing when I was asking you about your family too.
Do you always
do you always have to? And I think in the beginning, it came off like, I'm taking shots, but you've got a lovely family. Like we're great. We're all like an active family together.
Yeah, you just have to allow the space to want to be involved in whatever it is that person likes to do with their family before you even came in the picture, right? Like I think a thing for you that I've learned to be okay with, it took me some time, and I think it stems from me also being away from my family for a long time.
True.
The need to go and sit at your mom's house just to be there, I don't like it. I didn't like it. I was like, but why?
But I mean, the stuff that we're doing.
No, and for me, I'm just like, oh God. But I know that you like that, right? Because you want to just check on your mom, even if it's once or twice a week. So if you care about that person, this is something that you're going to do, and you're going to do it with a smile on your face, not being fake, but you're genuinely going to show that you care about their family as well, and you are willing to do, any and everything for them and with them. And then the same thing for because I came from that, West Coast to the East
Coast, yes.
Sometimes you're the one asking me, well, when do you want to go see your mom? When do you want to go see your mom? And I'm like, well, we talk almost every day. So, and you're like, well, it's not the same.
Tree, like, it's like a 40-minute conversation.
Don't y'all have your own dialect? Well, what do y'all speak in Liberia?
Listen,
because you guys want to be American so bad.
We speak our colloquial. Listen, Kate gets on the phone.
You're not even saying it right. Anyway, so he's encouraging me, and I was saying something nice.
You were.
Okay.
You were.
So he's encouraging me to, even though I'm on the phone with my mom all the time, it's like, well, you're a lot closer now. You don't have to take the plane to go and engage with your mom. So you can go once a week. I know her schedule's a little bit weird, but we can figure it out where you get to see her. So that, I appreciate that. And that's, as we talk about the dynamics and trying to make it work, you have to see what's important to the other partner and not just nag and complain about it. How do we make it work? Because you're not just married to the person.
Yeah, you're not.
Honestly, you're married to the family.
You are.
But you just have to figure out a way, because there's boundaries around that. When I say you're married to the family, it's not like, okay,
like,
the
not everybody got access to.
and
not everybody.
And the level of access
the level.
too.
And it's important because in this blending space, you cannot just put your new spouse in front of everyone. In the context, it's like, oh, well, she's with me, so, whatever you do with me, you could do with her. No, because you always have to find yourself to be the protector. Fellas, as I love to reach out to y'all, and I'm going to say this again, remember, on top of being the provider, you also the protector too. So when your wife meets the new in-laws, when your wife is getting like ingratiated into the family, what does your role of protection look like? I'm not saying go out there and be like, the defender of the universe and, body slamming family members, but set a tone to where it's like, look, this is who I'm with. I understand what you may have known about, my ex and what you may have felt, but this is who I'm with today. And you do not sell the relationship of them liking your new spouse if they're still stuck on where you were. If they don't want to come where you are, then that's a them thing. And I've already been very clear in setting that tone because I do have a big family.
Yeah, and I think to that point, you just posed a question. How do you feel about still having your ex-partner's pictures in your phone? And when I say it's not just a standalone shot of him or her, like the family photos that y'all took, whether it's on vacations, because you said something that I'm just wondering.
And then you want to bring up that conversation here now,
because it's part of the family dynamic, right?
So
because or the ex-partner reaching out at certain times, and it's not like our true experience.
That's not but the phone stuff, I'm guilty of that.
Or if it's not the phone, my daughter's, let's say 2-3 years old.
Yes.
And, we have a kid together.
Yeah.
She's 3 years old. You have the kid now. You're calling me in the middle of the night, asking me about diapers or asking me, like having small talks and conversations. Mm-hmm. And the relationship seems a little bit weird. And you said this where you feel like the ex always feels like they have
a level of control.
A level of control, and they can still seep in and, and flirt and do, what, whenever they feel like it, they have access to you.
And I genuinely do and have felt that. And you understand what my stance has been with that. A lot of a second marriage is setting a tone. In the first marriage, you are focusing on authoring at that time. You're writing what you're going to do. You're developing it. So you don't have that. When you get remarried, now you have to take what you've authored and kind of not throw it away, but make it brand new for where you are. If you don't pay attention to setting boundaries, creating a line of respect, you're married to someone new, but you're still married to who you used to be married to, because it's up to you to protect the new space. So it's always important not to be disrespectful, but I think if there's certain conversations, my ex and I from time to time may need to have a little bit more in-depth conversations about things that happen with the girls. And it's something where I am going to prep Kate about, hey, listen, this is what's going on. So if the phone call seems a little bit longer than what a typical is, that's the respect. It's not, I don't want Kate to ever feel like, oh, well, a 20, 25-minute conversation is par for course going forward. Mm-hmm. Why are you smirking?
That doesn't happen. I'm agreeing for the people, So
no, you're agreeing for us because it don't happen.
No, it doesn't.
It happens occasionally, like if things happen.
Things happen, and you want to be. As far as the pictures go, right? What is the limit? This is not to say that's what you do, right? Because that's something I struggle with. Like it's hard for me to go and see certain, because Google will remind you all day long. Memories from 2012, and the memory is like a family photo. Yeah. And it's not just you and that person. The kids are in there. Yeah. How do you bring yourself to delete that? And is that also something that should be problematic? Because this is all part of the family dynamics, right? Yeah. And you go on the phone and you're like, well, why do you have 20 pictures and today's memories is only you? And how does that work?
I think that's something that us personally, when the phone has done those random pop-ups, it's just been like, oh shoot, I didn't even know I still had that there. And it's just been us having to delete. And I mean, and to say this, we have access to each other's phones. And with that, it's just, if it happens, it happens, and it's a respectful conversation. But at the beginning, I will go on record admitting, I was Sherlock Holmes. Yo, Kate, y'all got a lot of smiling pictures. There was this one picture where they had on white looking all godly. I was like, get that out of my face. And get that out. And
But
no kids was there.
I want to clarify
the
this,
kids was there, but
because-
it was a picture that he was like, I was like, nah, get that out
No,
of here.
I don't think you did. You said all of that, but
Okay, I wasn't a fan of the godly photo.
okay,
Because y'all teeth were showing too much.
All I'm saying is it's tough, but you have to have the conversation and make sure that you're not having the other parties cross the boundaries or seeping into the household too much, because it is important.
Yeah.
And it feels weird after 10, 15 minutes.
It does.
Yeah, because if you're there and I'm having, it doesn't matter even if it's about the kids, it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. So finding a good balance, making sure that you both understand that these are things that are going to happen in a relationship. You're going to continue to have the relationship with your in-laws, the extended family members, the siblings, all of that good stuff. But having the boundaries and saying that enough is enough here, and these are the things they can and cannot say or do to your partner, and that united front to make sure that they understand that you guys are really, like you're a team.
This is us. Team. Like genuinely, this is us. And I'll stress it again. And fellas, like I said, the provider and the protector. So if you do not set that tone to protect your lady, look, you are that part. I'm tasking that to every man who's watching this. That is your cross to bear. Because if you're expecting your wife to be the protector of y'all's space against your family, you can never turn around and look at her if she handles it accordingly. Because now she's in defender mode. She has to protect herself first. So it's up to you. When you cross over, you do that merge. It's important that you let it bounce off of your chest. Right? And understand you can only go so far to make the family like and love, but what you will always make sure they do is respect. So, I think we're doing, and we've done a great job. Like I said, I have the bigger family, right? I have about like 14 members who are the active that I deal with in my family, in between my younger cousins who are grown in their 20s, approaching their 30s, in between my father's siblings, who they are actively involved with me and actively involved with Kate. And of course, my mom, who does nothing wrong. So Mom, when you see this, you don't do anything wrong. It's just I'm trying to get Kate to understand how we have our dynamic.
We believe, we agree. You don't do anything wrong, and you raised a handsome young man, handy. And this is all beautiful to now experience the other side of the family, where again, giving them the time to get to know me and understand truly who I am. The relationship is different. Yeah. And so give the time, allow, the journey to really morph into what it needs to morph into. And I want to ask you guys, if you are going through something similar, if you are in this current space in your life, married, second time, first time. Yes. What is your relationship like with your in-laws?
With the in-laws,
And how are you navigating that space? And
I don't think we talked about like your side of the family enough. But what I will say is, right, Kate's family, they are a smaller group, but they are really like
we are the small and mighty.
So they're really locked in, and I'll say, look, it's been nothing but open arms. It's been a great experience so far.
Absolutely.
I'm easy to get along with. So if her family didn't, I would wonder what was wrong with them.
Right.
That's the truth.
And so you guys,
I would wonder.
Not to cut you off, but we really want to know, because this is something that as we're navigating, it's still a struggle. So if you are going through this, and if you or you're experiencing this with your in-laws, with the extended family, and you have some tips and tricks on how you are getting through this, let us know. We would love to hear from you. So thank you for joining us.
And take two with Mylan and Kate. We will see you sooner than later.